Nice. You see, I'm not fishing overly heavy tackle either. The biggest problem, I suppose, here is you get eagle rays and stuff in the tide, and that's where the heavy tackle helps. But just like any form of fishing, light tackle will help you get more bites and thinner line, you know, especially when the fishing's tough. When fish are chewing, not so important. But when fishing's tough, fishing on that lighter side does help. And people will say, oh, you know, but what if I lose it? And I go, yeah, but what if I didn't get the bite? I'd rather have that happen. And you know, I'm not worried at all about losing this fish unless the hook's pulled. And see how these rods are flat in these three ways? It helps you catch so many more fish because that rod's flat. When that fish eats the bait and the rod bends, it's drag pressure that's hooking the fish. On a soft tip rod like this, if it's up in a normal rod holder, the rod has to bend a long way before it's actually at that sort of hooking power of the rod, and the fish can drop the bait. But this way it's very, very direct. Keep this rod low for fighting the fish. We're not going right up in the air because the power or the working curve of the rod is here. So just keep it low, basically wind the tip to the water, bring it just up to horizontal. That's all we need to do, and I can react with the fish then. Snapper like to do this thing. They'll come up, and just as you see the fish and it sees the boat, they'll often put that last dive in. So when your rod's like that, you can just go down with him, don't pull back. That's all right. There we go. Now, just put that there. Thanks, little fella. 2-hook rig there. And he's on the top hook because their natural instinct is to eat something head first. They don't think that, oh, a squid strip or a squid ring's got a head, but they go, it's up that end into the tide, I'll come up tide and eat it. Makes it easier for them to swallow. Now that's not a big snapper, but that's perfect eating size. I'm gonna put him into the slurry. And if we get a bigger one, we'll let that one go, but that's perfect. Okay, so if you want to make a slurry, pretty simple. 1/3 salt water, 2/3 ice. It actually brings that down to below freezing, but it doesn't actually turn into a block or anything because of the salt content in it. This makes all fish better eating. It's good for the fish. Grab that snapper. He's been spiked, so he'll go in there. Get nice and chilled, firms the meat up, does all that. Let's keep fishing. It's funny too how you can have 4 rods out and 1 rod catches the fish. And that could just be that you cast into a lump that you don't know is there, or the fish are coming up on a certain line in the tide. But you know, that's why I like to fish multiple rods. Let's suss this out. What's going on here? Wherever possible, I don't like to get the other rods out because if there's one fish, there's probably more. And there's plenty of times that you'll have one on and before you get that in, another rod will go. Maybe it's a little bit bigger than I thought. There's a bit of weight there. This has just got 20-pound braid, 6000D bait runner. Such a versatile little outfit, just a 6 to 8 kilo snapper rod, soft tip, plenty of poke in the lower section. You can't be far off now. And it's amazing that if you fish lighter braid, just like lighter mono, you can go to such a smaller sinker because it cuts through the water better. So it just makes everything that little bit slicker. There's a bit of colour. He's a nice fish. This is perfect. There we go, see that bit of colour? He may do it, but he may not. He's a bit better, that one. That's more like a proper snapper, that one. And again, that hook, the circle in the corner of his jaw, and that stinger's just got him in under there. Look at the gob on that thing. Also, when you're winding a fish in, don't try and wind the swivel to the tip. Always give yourself that sort of, 3 to 4 feet of line. Yeah, now that's a snapper. Yeah, he's a nice fish. How's the mouth on it, those big crunching jaws? And a lot of people think snapper are just, you know, something that they eat on the bottom all the time, but these guys are predators. They're hunting bait fish and squid flat out. He's got a nice big gob on him. Oh, that's 6-0. That's a Gamakatsu octopus circle in the corner of the jaw. That hook's not coming out, so I'll just lay him back down. And again, I'll just put him on the, net, because with that rubber mesh, it's nice and smooth, it's wet and slippery. It's not damaging the fish. Okay, hook out gun. Watch this. It gives you that bit of leverage that you need to pop the hook out. And there you have that little 2-hook rig. That hook's the one that's done the damage. I reckon we might pop this guy back. That's a nice fish. No giant, but a nice one. See how his fins are up? That's a really good sign. He thought so too.